Welcome everyone to AI Frontiers, the podcast where we explore the cutting edge of artificial intelligence and its impact on business and technology. Today, we're diving deep into a really critical intersection: AI and cybersecurity. We know general-purpose large language models, LLMs, are transforming industries, but their uptake in cybersecurity has been, well, a bit slower. There are unique challenges. To help us unpack this, we have a fantastic panel of experts today. We have specialists in large model architecture, data science for AI, hands-on cybersecurity practice, AI evaluation, business strategy, security research, and AI ethics. Welcome all.
Glad to be here. It's a crucial conversation for business leaders trying to navigate the AI wave securely.
Absolutely, the technical hurdles in applying generic LLMs to the very specific, often adversarial domain of cybersecurity are significant.
Let's start there. Expert 4, from a strategic viewpoint, what's been the main roadblock for integrating these powerful AI tools into standard security practices?
Well, several things. Many top-tier models come with restrictive safety guardrails that, while well-intentioned, can hinder legitimate security analysis. Think of it like trying to use a safety-locked scalpel for complex surgery. Sometimes you need the full capability. Plus, there's a real scarcity of clean, specialized public cybersecurity data. And let's not forget, threat actors don't play by the same rules. They can build custom, uncensored models.
Exactly, as practitioners, we often find generic models hallucinate security details or lack the deep understanding of, say, specific MITRE ATT and CK techniques or the nuances between CVEs and CWEs. It leads to a fragmented landscape of task-specific tools rather than a unified AI assistant.
So there's a clear need. This brings us to the focus of today's discussion, a new model mentioned in a recent technical report. FoundationSec8B Expert 1, can you give us the high-level overview? What is it built on?
Certainly, FoundationSec8B is a cybersecurity-specialized LLM. It's built upon the Llama 3.18 billion parameter model, which is already a very capable open-source foundation. The key innovation here is continued pretraining specifically on a large, curated cybersecurity corpus.
Continued pretraining. Can you elaborate on that? How is it different from just fine-tuning?
Great question. Think of it like this. The base Llama 3.1 model is like someone with a broad, solid university education. Fine-tuning is like giving them a short course on a specific job task. Continued pretraining, however, is more like sending them to specialized graduate school, in this case, cybersecurity grad school. You're deeply infusing domain knowledge by training further on billions of domain-specific tokens, not just adjusting for a narrow task.
And finding those billions of tokens for cybersecurity is the real challenge. It's a niche area compared to the entire web. The report highlights a pretty intensive data collection and preparation process.
Expert 2, the report mentions starting with 4 terabytes of raw data and ending up with 25 gigabytes. That's a yield of less than 1%. Tell us about that data journey. It sounds arduous.
Arduous is putting it mildly. It involved a two-pronged approach. First, a wide net scraper to cast a broad net, but with a relevancy filter to avoid collecting, well, everything. Second, custom scrapers for high-value sources like MITRE, CVE databases, security blogs, research papers, places standard crawlers might struggle.
And the filtering. That low yield suggests some aggressive quality control.
Absolutely, the raw HTML is noisy. We extracted text, then applied multiple filtering layers. Initially keywords, about 800 cyber terms, but that had too many false positives. So we trained a small transformer classifier specifically to identify cybersecurity relevance. We labeled 26,000 documents using another LLM to train this classifier, achieving an F1 score of 0.924, which is quite good.
Interesting. The report also mentions rejecting some standard quality filters, like language filters that might accidentally discard valuable content like CVE descriptions because they look non-English due to code snippets and jargon.
Yes, that was a key finding. Standard web quality metrics don't always align with cybersecurity needs. Things like CVE details or MITRE ATT and CK pages, full of IDs and technical terms, can get wrongly flagged as low quality or non-English by generic filters like fast text with default settings. We had to be really careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, or perhaps more aptly, not to throw the critical vulnerability data out with the web spam.
Wow, so a highly curated cyber-specific dataset. Expert 1, once you have this data, how does the continued pretraining work technically?
We used the standard Llama 3.18b checkpoint and continued training it on this 5.1 billion token corpus. We used efficient techniques like packing documents into 4096 token sequences to maximize GPU utilization, employed the AtomW optimizer with a cosine decay learning rate schedule, and leveraged deep speed for distributed training across a cluster. It's about efficiently exposing the model to this specialized knowledge.
Okay, the model is trained. Now, how do you know if it actually learned what you wanted it to learn? Expert 5, let's talk evaluation. The report mentions specific cybersecurity benchmarks like CTIBench. Why not just use standard LLM tests?
Because standard benchmarks like MMLU, while useful for general knowledge, don't probe the specific, nuanced understanding required in cybersecurity. It's like using a general knowledge quiz to certify a brain surgeon. We need tests that reflect real security tasks.
The report also mentions Cybermetric and SecBench, focusing on human-validated questions and expert-created content. And interestingly, it notes why some other benchmarks like SecEval were excluded due to saturation, where many models perform similarly well, making it hard to differentiate.
Exactly. We need benchmarks with headroom, ones that can actually distinguish between models with genuine specialized knowledge and those without. We also used MMLU, but specifically to check for catastrophic forgetting, ensuring the cyber specialization didn't completely erase the model's general knowledge.
And the results? How did Foundation Sec 8B stack up?
The results are quite compelling, especially for an 8 billion parameter model. On the CTI bench tasks, it showed significant improvement over the base Llama 3.18b, for instance. On CTIBench-RCM, the root cause mapping, it jumped over 14% in accuracy.
That CTIBench-RCM result is particularly noteworthy. Mapping a narrative CVE description to a precise CWE category is highly nuanced. Outperforming a 70B parameter model, there suggests the domain-specific pretraining really embedded that specialized understanding effectively.
And that's the key point for business leaders. Getting performance comparable to a 70B model or a leading proprietary API from an 8B open source model. That has huge implications for cost, deployability, and accessibility, especially for organizations that can't afford massive inference clusters or rely solely on external APIs for sensitive tasks. It democratizes advanced AI security capabilities.
Let's talk about that democratization and real-world use. Expert 3, the report lists several use cases being piloted: SOC acceleration, proactive threat defense, engineering enablement. Can you bring these to life from a practitioner's perspective?
Absolutely, imagine a SOC analyst drowning in alerts. A model like FoundationSec, fine-tuned for the task, can summarize alerts from multiple sources into coherent case notes, generate incident timelines, even draft initial reports. This doesn't replace the analyst, but significantly speeds up triage and lets them focus on higher-level analysis.
TTPs being tactics, techniques, and procedures.
Correct. For proactive defense, it can help prioritize vulnerabilities based on exploitability context, not just a CVSS score, or even generate hypotheses about potential attack paths in your network. For engineering teams, it can help interpret dense security policies or validate infrastructure configurations against best practices. It acts like a knowledgeable assistant, always available.
And the business impact follows directly. Faster response times, reduced risk exposure, more efficient use of expensive security personnel, potentially smoother compliance audits. The ROI case starts to build itself when you accelerate these core security workflows.
It sounds incredibly promising, but let's inject a dose of reality. Expert 6, you often look at the potential downsides or limitations. What challenges or contrarian views come to mind?
Well, first, the report itself is upfront about limitations. The current model isn't optimized for secure coding tasks, for example, and scaling up is mentioned as future work. But my main contrarian thought is this: the evaluation rightly focuses on knowledge recall and mapping, which is crucial. But cybersecurity isn't just about knowing facts, it's about reasoning under uncertainty, adapting to novel threats, and crucially, robustness against manipulation.
So you're saying knowing the MITRE ATT and CK framework is different from reasoning like an attacker or defender in a live situation.
Precisely. While this model shows great promise as a knowledge base, we shouldn't assume it automatically translates to, say, effective autonomous defense or infallible threat detection without significant further work in different kinds of testing, like the robustness tests in CyberSec-Eval, which were explicitly out of scope for this evaluation. We need to be careful not to overstate capabilities based solely on knowledge benchmarks.
That's a fair point, Expert 6. The evaluation scope was intentionally focused on assessing the impact of continued pretraining on core cybersecurity knowledge infusion into a base model. Measuring advanced reasoning or robustness requires different methodologies and benchmarks, and often instruction fine-tuned models rather than base pretrained ones. This work provides the foundation, not necessarily the finished, fully autonomous security agent.
Building on that, there's the ethical dimension. Releasing a powerful open-source cybersecurity model is framed as leveling the playing field for defenders, which is a laudable goal. But we must remain vigilant about potential misuse. While this model might be less suited for generating novel attacks compared to an uncensored one, its deep knowledge could still be leveraged by threat actors for reconnaissance or planning if not deployed responsibly.
And adoption isn't just about technical capability or ethical considerations. It's about trust and integration. How easily can this plug into existing SIEMs or SOAR platforms? How much fine-tuning is needed for my specific environment? These are the practical questions business and IT leaders will ask. The open-source nature helps, but there's still an implementation journey.
And maintaining that data quality pipeline is an ongoing effort. The threat landscape evolves, new vulnerabilities emerge, new techniques are documented. The corpus needs to be continuously updated and curated, or the model's knowledge will become stale. That 5.1 billion tokens is just a snapshot in time.
This brings us to the future. The report mentions scaling up, adding coding capabilities, and integrating into tool-using agentic systems. Expert 1, what excites you most about the next steps?
I think the agentic systems integration is particularly exciting. Imagine FoundationSec not just answering questions, but actively using security tools, querying databases, running scans, correlating findings, guided by its specialized knowledge. That moves closer to the automated assistant vision Expert 3 described. And scaling, of course, could potentially unlock even deeper understanding, maybe bridging that gap towards more complex reasoning Expert 6 mentioned.
We have a saying in tech, it's not about the bits and bytes, it's about the benefits and breakthroughs. Expert 4, final thoughts on the strategic implications.
This work exemplifies a key trend: domain-specific AI outperforming larger generalist models on specialized tasks. For cybersecurity, where accuracy and nuanced understanding are paramount, this is critical. It signals a shift towards more accessible, potentially customizable, and powerful AI tools for defenders. It's not a silver bullet, as Expert 6 rightly pointed out, but it's a significant advancement in forging sharper tools for a complex fight.
Fantastic discussion. We've covered the technical innovations behind FoundationSec 8B, the crucial role of data curation, its impressive benchmark performance, practical use cases, and importantly, the limitations and future directions. It really feels like we're moving towards AI that doesn't just know about cybersecurity, but truly understands it. A huge thank you to all our experts for sharing their insights today. It's clear that while challenges remain, specialized models like FoundationSec 8B represent a major step forward in leveraging AI for a more secure digital world. That's all the time we have for this episode of AI Frontiers. Join us next time as we continue to explore the ever-evolving landscape of artificial intelligence. Thanks for listening. Researchers introduced FoundationSec-8B, a new large language model specialized for cybersecurity. Large language models are artificial intelligence systems trained on vast amounts of text data. This model builds upon the Llama 3.1 architecture. It was improved using a technique called continued pretraining. Continued pretraining further trains a model using data from a specific field. The team created a large, high-quality dataset focused only on cybersecurity. This dataset included about 5 billion text tokens. Data collection involved careful scraping and filtering of web content. A custom classifier ensured the data's relevance to cybersecurity. FoundationSec-8B showed significant performance gains over its base model. It performed well on specific cybersecurity benchmark tests. Benchmarks are standardized tests used to evaluate model capabilities. Its performance matched or exceeded much larger models on certain tasks. These included models like Llama 3.170 billion parameter and GPT-4o mini. It showed strong results in cyber threat intelligence tasks. Cyber threat intelligence involves understanding and mitigating online threats. For example, it excelled at mapping vulnerabilities to their root causes. This task is known as root cause mapping in the CTIBench benchmark. The model slightly decreased in general knowledge performance due to specialization. This is a common trade-off noted in similar research. The current model is not specifically optimized for secure coding tasks. FoundationSec-8B is being tested for real-world security applications. Potential uses include accelerating work in security operations centers. Security operations centers monitor and respond to security alerts. It can also help model attacker behavior and extract threat data. This includes identifying tactics, techniques, and procedures used by attackers. The model can assist security engineers with policy validation and compliance. The researchers have released the model publicly. They hope this accelerates artificial intelligence adoption in cybersecurity. Future plans include scaling the model and adding coding abilities. They also aim to integrate it into interactive security tools.